It's Friday. Y'all, I really hope my face looks so greasy. But that's okay. I don't have no filter on. No filter. This is real. No filter. This is real. So I'm about to get ready to head to a property to show somebody a property. And yeah, so this week has been a grind week. Like grinding, and I feel like I've been really tested too. I've been tested like crazy. I hope everybody had a great Mother's Day. My Mother's Day started off excellent. It was great. I went to church. Everything was great until the devil thought that it was going to waltz up in my home, and I had to shut it down. So yeah, so now I had a lot of stuff I had to do this morning. One of the main things that I had to do was I had to get my 300. I had to get my mother's vehicle. She's driving the vehicle. I had to get that vehicle. So the vehicle that I had when me and my then husband, when we got married, I have a 300M, and it's a '04. I don't care what anybody say. '04 was a good year. I still think a lot of like any cars that's in like the 2000s, I think those are good years or whatever. So anyway, the car when a car becomes a certain amount of years old, you still have to take it through emissions, but because the Cadillac converter on that vehicle was faulty from day one, and in certain states they won't pass it, so you have to get like a certain amount of numbers of repairs done, and then they'll go ahead and they'll pass the car so you can renew your tags for another 2 years. But the catch is that you have to spend a certain amount of money to do that. It just so happens that when my mom was in the garage, I noticed like there was, what is that called? Freon, not Freon, but antifreeze. I put my finger in and I was like, this is antifreeze. And I'm like, Mom, why is the hood open? Oh, the car was running hot. I'm like, running hot. So I checked the oil. Yes, I know how to check my oil. I think every woman should know how to check her oil. She should know how to check the transmission. Oil, you check it when the car is turned off. Transmission, you run the car and you check your transmission fluids to make sure everything is good. You got to have transmission fluid in the car and oil, because if you don't, you can lock your engine up and you can be paying thousands of dollars trying to get a new engine. Ask me how I know. Years ago when I was younger, I didn't put oil in the car and it locked my engine up. So ever since then, my grandfather he taught me how to check my oil. Ooh, that thing about to hit a car. Ooh, 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 it's gonna hit the car. Bam. It sideswiped the car and it hit the trash can. That's what happens when you put your carts up and you don't pay attention. So anywho, somebody's gonna come out and see a nice gash on the side of their car because this lady's negligence. But anywho, so every woman should know how to check your oil. You should know how to check your gas. I mean, you should know how to check your oil and your transmission. Okay, you should know how to put your tires on just in case if you pulled on the side of the road and you need help. You should be able to know how to do those things or whatever. So anywho, so in the midst of that, I'm like, oh, this is just gonna be another bill. And I'm like, Lord, but his timing is everything. So literally when my mother pulled in, I'm just like, what is this? And I'm like, mine. And it was running, because when it ran hot before, I checked the oil, and I'm like, Ma, there's no oil in this car. This is a 300M. This type of vehicle you gotta have oil in. Because I remember years ago, I let my sister drive it and she didn't put no oil in it, and steam and stuff was coming from the car. And when I took it to the mechanic, he said, this particular vehicle, you got to put oil in this car or your engine is going to go bad. So I already knew that. Top it off or whatever, because that car is a gas guzzler. It's a six. It's a 6 cylinder, but honestly, it feel like it's an 8 cylinder the way it drives and everything. But it just takes a lot of oil, and it takes a lot of gas too. So I'm in a 2021 Toyota Sienna XPX. I don't even know what it is. But this car cost me about $40 to fill up every week. I'm talking about a whole week, and I drive around the universe. That 300M, when I was driving that daggone car all the way to Virginia and Maryland, that thing was taking like $50, $55 every 2 days. Like, yeah, you better fill me up. Like, it literally runs through stuff. So anyway, so in order for me to have passed the inspection to renew the tax on that car, um, you got to pay at least 400 and something odd dollars worth of work done. And I'm like, oh gosh. So I just recently, like last year, got the radiator, the hose, all of this type of stuff done on that vehicle. And I'm just like, it better not have no issue, because now my mother's driving it locally. I'm not driving it like cross country or anything like that. So what ended up happening was, when my mother, after I put the Freon in it and put the oil in it, the car was fine. The light went off. Everything was kosher. Everything was cool. And I asked Mom, I tested the car and everything. It was like, Ma, drive good. So everything was cool. But then I came home and noticed it's Freon on the daggone ground of the garage. So I put my fingers in it to make sure it's not oil. And it is not antifreeze, but what's the other? Yes, antifreeze. And so I called the mechanic, like, y'all went ahead and replaced the hose. Y'all did everything. Either a clamp or something came through, but it shouldn't be anything major. He was like, I don't know. I have to see it. So I'm like, me and my mother, we work as a team. Like, I'm out here getting this money. Like, I need to make sure that she got her wheels together, because she got to go and handle what she need to handle, her business, and get around. And she also picks up my daughter. So we just can't have one vehicle. So in a nutshell, we take the car early this morning for them to look at it, and come to find out, the housing that actually holds the antifreeze inside of it, well, it actually was melted on both sides, and the antifreeze was dropping out of it, which I'm like, whew. I'm like, that's not anything major. He was like, yeah, it's not, but something like this is going to cost you $450. 450. With Guess what? I needed to pay $450 worth of work in order for them to extend the car, so I don't have to keep taking it to emissions. So boom, there was my $450. So I had to pay that. And I'm gonna tell you something. He told me, the guy was like, it's gonna take me a couple of hours. You gotta give me some time. It's gonna take you. We went around the corner, went to the house, came back, and the stuff was already done. I'm like, should I have been a mechanic? Because y'all be paying, you be like, for this job right here, it's gonna be $600. It's gonna be $400. Like, y'all put on parts and stuff that you get paid more than freaking attorneys out here. I mean, that job was literally like 20 minutes, and he already put the thing on it. Bottom line, the car worked good. Had to take it back through admission so they can fill it, sign off on it, and then basically they gave me until next year. And I'm like, I thought it was gonna be 2 years. She was like, because you kept getting extended work. I'm like, this is bogus. This is bogus. But I'm just like, you know what, whatever. I can't cry about it. Thank you, Lord. It was done. It was done. Got the thing extended. Now my mother can be on her merry way, and I can go back to grinding. I can go back to grinding. So I thank God for that. But not but no, I thank God for that, because we had the bread to do it. Everything's kosher. Nothing's holding my mother back from what she need to do. I still feel like when I opened that hood though, underneath that car was hecka hot. But I'm like, it's an engine, like, yeah. But oh yeah, so the mechanic showed me. He was like, yeah, this car is pretty old. So look at that bird just gliding. That bird is showing off. He was showing off his moves. Y'all, these birds be showing. Oh. He was like, look at me, y'all. So so anywho, what was I saying? So anywho, My mother went on about her merry way or whatever, but I'm like, thank you, Lord. That's one less thing that we need to deal with is that vehicle. Like I don't now I have to deal with this vehicle. I don't have to get no work done on it, but this is a car note. This is a car note. The thing is that this vehicle gets me around the universe. It really does. It gets me, and I'm putting miles on it. I don't care. They be like, you don't want to put too much wear and tear. No, 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 no. If I'm paying a note on this daggone thing, I'm going to put miles on it. She's going to get a lot of miles on her, a lot of it. I'm going to get a lot of miles on this car. So anywho, yeah. So I'm actually going to be working on a new video, a new YouTube channel, and this time I'm thinking about doing commentary on it. Actually putting edit I'm editing everything and just talking about whatever I feel like talking about. Um I wanted to bring up something, and I wanted to talk about, how we have to be careful of the people that you bring into your life and the people that you date, because they either going to make you or they're going to break you. And that has everything to do with your friends, your family, like I said, the people you date, whoever you're affiliated with. They're even going to make you or they're going to break you. So, there was some stuff that had went on in my home last Sunday, and it was a lot of things that was brought up about people past and the things that they do. And I mentioned about a particular person that, number one, you got the wrong person, and I'm not this person or that person. And that person went off and started bringing up my past with the man that I married, my ex-boyfriends, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, I don't mind people bringing up my past. I don't mind you saying you and your ex-husband wasn't that. You can bring up anybody. You It's not gonna make me a man in the moon. But the issue is that you need to ask, did any of those men in my life cause me to be bitter or cause me not to excel? Because if they didn't, you should have learned a lesson behind all of who you name names to. Because there have been women that I have seen, whether they're friends, family, um, or acquaintance, where I've seen them get into relationships with people and it completely altered their personalities. Like these people have become bitter. I'm talking about bitter to the point where I felt like a certain person I know, it's like I'm walking on eggshells, because if I say the wrong thing, she may no if I say something, she may take it in the wrong way. So I've been walking on eggshells. And I decided I'm not doing it no more. You're just not allowed to come around me or my child or my family anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. There are certain people in my life that I just don't invite in anymore. And the reason why is because you're not on the same frequency I'm on. Like you're not on the same level that I'm on. Like you're still doing that stuff we used to do when we was teenagers. But I am literally, I'll be 41 this year in September, which means I'll be 9 years from being 50. I ain't got time to be dealing with people attitudes, because if I'm worried about my walk with Christ, if I'm worried about how I am and what God views me, and I'm worried about being punished because I'm not forgiving other people, and I'm very sensitive about other people's very sensitive to their feelings, and you just walking around like a loose cannon and you acting crazy and you want me to comprehend crazy, I'm the wrong person. I'm the wrong person. I have noticed people have changed because of the man that you used to date or the man that you used to be married to. You used to be a kind-hearted, fun person to be around with. Now you like a bat out of hell. You a loose cannon. You loonier than a daggone bat. And it's just like And you want everybody to accept that. No, I don't have to accept it, and I don't want to accept it. One thing that I'm realizing in this life is that you got to pick and choose your battles. You got to pick and choose who you going to open the door to, okay? You allow the devil to walk up in your house, and you think he's just going to sit in the corner and be like, "Don't mind me. I'm the devil. I'm Satan himself. I'm just gonna sit here." I got news for you. He doesn't. He's gonna cause chaotic chaos in your house, destruction. So I had a person come to my house this past Mother's Day, and when I tell you, when that person left, I had to get my spirit together. My mother, I had to take my daughter to the playground and let her play for about an hour and a half to decompose and to detox whatever that was. And I realized that is a spiritual attack, because some people have demons and unclean spirits on them. And if you're walking right, and if you're asking God to work on you, matter of fact, that early that day, if y'all look at my video, I went to church that day. My daughter went to church that day. She went to Sunday school. I went to church. My mother went to church. My nephew went to church. And this particular person that walked in the house, she didn't go to church. She didn't go to church. And not even within 20 minutes, this person came in my home and wanted to start something that was so petty. And I realized it was such an attack that was coming on me. And then it was going towards my mother. You know, when you're dealing with my mother, we got an issue. So, you know what I said? Get out. Get out. Because I could never go over to your house and do what you just did when you came over to my house. I've dealt with enough that I'm like, I don't care if we family. Because remember, Cain and Abel, they were family, weren't they? But it didn't stop Cain from killing his own brother. Okay, we can be family by blood, but it don't mean I have to deal with you or your attitude or the issues that you're dealing with. And I realized it's the test. See, the enemy said I can't get to her because she really don't deal with a lot of nonsense. So, oh, yes, I know what we'll do. We'll use her kinfolk and jump on them, and then we'll get to her, because we know that her past, when this person get to yapping, she gon', that old person gonna come back, and I said to myself, I'm not dealing with people that's not gonna bring out the best in me. You trying to bring out the worst in me, or trying to bring my old past to come around. And then I have to go back to what could I have done better. So I realized in my walk, I can't hang around people that got drama. You got more drama than a movie, a dark one on that. And I'm like, I don't even look at those type of dark movies. And there's certain doors that I just don't allow to open. Like, for instance, y'all know that, I'm in the real estate or whatever. I don't give my number out to men. I just don't. So I was going to the gym, and there was a guy there. We were just talking about stuff, and he was basically telling me, like, the older guy, this gotta be like my father age. He was telling me that he was at a light and some guy hit him, and he told the guy to get out the car so they can exchange, but the guy was bullying him, and the guy got in his car. I mean, all types of stuff was happening. And I was telling him, man, that guy been doing stuff like that, and he thought he can bully you. And I was thinking to myself, I need to lock my doors and keep some mace on me. So he was talking about all of that, and he got to talking about property. And I told him, oh, I'm actually a realtor. So I gave him my card. And then as I'm leaving, he said, yeah, maybe we can eat chicken wings. Chicken wings. First thing went to my mind, chicken wings. No, this is a business deal, but you mean chicken wings. First of all, I'm a no, not diabetic. I am I was about to say diabetic, but no, I'm not a diabetic, and I denounce that in Jesus' name. I am a vegetarian. I don't eat meat. So you eating chicken wings. I thought we were just talking about property here. So the person started talking about some property, and I'm thinking, like, you said you had property for sale. You said you was working with another realtor, but you can change it, and you want me to inquire. I'm like, I'm too old for stuff like that. Either you need me as a realtor or you don't, or something up. Later on, the guy texts, and he's like, do you think it's okay if we go out to dinner or breakfast or dinner? And I'm already like this. See, I knew that there was something with this. And I'm like, okay, Lord, how do I answer this question? Don't want to be rude, don't want to be disrespectful because the person asked in a very respectable way. And I said, I have to respectfully decline. Because the first thing that went through my mind is, I'm not opening the doors for nothing new like this. I am so focused on getting this money, making sure that my family is comfortable and hitting these goals that I need to hit in my life. I don't have room for distractions. And I don't want to go into, sorry, sir, but the man that I married is still alive and I'm not allowed today. I ain't want nobody to know my business either. So I was like, how do I handle this? So I sent a text and I said, I respectfully, I thank you very much. That was very nice of you, but I have to respectfully decline. And I kept it at that. The person emailed, text back a day after and said, but why? And I said, wait a minute. You know, I'm thinking in my mind, this is a test. This is a test. Because if I have to give you the whole rundown of why, then I just opened the door and invited you into my life. And I don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. So I said, I'm just going to leave it like that. And I'm going to let the Lord deal with it. Lord, could you remove them away? Because I don't have time for that. Because now you're taking my thoughts away from something else. Then I got to come up with the reason why. I don't have to come up with the reason why. Same thing with people. If I'm focused on getting these deals, getting these clients, showing houses, get my income up, and I'm grinding, and I invite you to come over to congregate and have fun to a outing, a cookout, and you come in and cause chaos, and then I have to decompress of what happened. It's taken me away from my plan because I'm just trying to pick up the pieces of what just happened at this event because of how you acting. I gotta stay away from you now because now I realize the enemy is on you trying to get at me. Like, no, I have to stay focused. So I say this, and that's the reason why some people don't finish their goals. They don't complete their goals. You want to know why? Because you always got people coming in your life and they're trying, and it could be family members, it can be friends. There's some friends that I have learned they will always show up at your event, but they will never invite you to theirs. And you got to ask the question, like, well, what's that all about? You know, secretly you despise me and don't really have to say too much, but I see what it is. And I just said to myself, you know what, Mona, I'm asking God to take me on a whole nother level, even with a different circle of folks. Now, don't get it twisted. I love my family. I love them, but I can love you at a distance. I can pray for you and ask God to protect you, keep you, and bless you and hear about good reports, but I don't have to be around you. And it's the same thing with friends, too. Because I realized in my 20s, I was always chasing after my sister, chasing after her children, worried about this sister, that brother, worried about this, that, and third, and then mine. No, 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 no. The only thing I need to be worried about is me and my child. That's the only thing with, you know, the Bible says is to honor thy father and thy mother. The only thing I need to be doing is doing what God is calling me to do. But sometimes when you are going somewhere, the enemy will try to use people to send your way. And you got to be very careful of who you open the doors to. Because if your day is always gossiping about who this person did to you, that person did in this situation, it is literally deterring you away from your goals. But if you don't have those type of distractions, then there should be no reason why you can't finish your goal. You get what I'm saying? Because now the issue is you. Why didn't you finish your goal? You had all that time. You had all the time in your hands. What was you doing? Oh, you was looking at them videos. You was looking at them series. You were sitting up here looking at them series month after month after month, week after week, and you became a couch potato. So you're your own issue. So it's even certain things that I look at that I'm like, I'm not looking at that because it's taking the time away. It's taking the time away. It's taking the time away. But what I vow would happen, that, and I don't want to go too much into it, but when that person left my home after making a scenery and just, it was so bad, I could see the hurt on my mother's face, and I could see that my mother seemed so drained. And I thought to myself, that would never happen again. That would never, not around my mother, not around my child, not around me. That I vow I would never. That would never, ever, 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 ever happen again. I'll never let you waltz in my home and try to take away my peace, because I don't even allow people that I don't even know try to even get a chance at the door. So family members too, it goes for you too. I'm not doing that, because I go to everybody home and I respect their home. I respect their space. I respect them in front of their children. And one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to let nobody come in mine and start acting a fool and acting like a 15-year-old, and this particular person about to be 40 next year. And I'm already 40, about to be 41 this year. Sister or no sister, brother or no brother, friend or no friend. I'm just not doing it. So that's all I really gotta say is, like, you want to complete a goal. Sometimes you gotta block everybody. Sometimes they gotta ask, so how's everything going? Everything's going. I've always been one that wanted to entertain and do stuff and have cookouts and things like that with family members, and invite on certain trips and everything like that. But then when it comes to their outings, they don't call you to be like, hey, you want to come. And I'm not doing that no more. And it's okay. It's okay that I do my own thing with my daughter or do my own thing. And sometimes you have to learn how to just let people go and move on without them. Because it's easier to love somebody by saying, hey, how's it going? I was just checking up to see how you were doing, and leave it at that. Or it's easy to say, oh, they're doing good. That's real good. And just pray for them. Yes, because prayer is better than a gift, because you're going before the Lord and petitioning for this person and just asking God to protect them, keep them, and bless them. Bless them as they go and as they come in. I don't have to be around that. So these are things that I'm learning, that I'm just like, I'm not going to let nobody either make me feel some type of way. You're not going to come around and then and disrespect, and then that narcissistic behavior, act like I am the victim of everything, never looking at yourself. And that goes with folks that don't have a relationship with God. See, because if you had a relationship with God, you would have a conviction over your heart of that. Well, how could I have done this better? Jesus talks about that we should forgive our brothers. When somebody does something wrong to us, we forgive them, because we're asking God to forgive us for our sins as we forgive those who trespass against us. Now, I just did the Lord's Prayer on Sunday, and here come this demon thinking, and I looked at it and I was like, that was nothing but it was literally spiritual. Because anytime you have peace and everybody's like, hey, how's it going? And somebody show up and they didn't like how you answered a question. They didn't like how you answered the question about their neighborhood. And it got so bad that when I told the person to leave and we were going back and forth, the person that they came with, I told them, I need you to put down everything, grab everything, and I need you to leave. I had made some crab legs too. I had to toss them crab legs into the bag and say, here, take these with you. Take her out. Get her out of here. Just get her out of here, please. Because I'm not dealing with this type of stuff no more. I'm not dealing with dysfunctional people that don't know how to act. You can't even invite them to the palace because you afraid if they have too many drinks, they're going to act a fool and embarrass everybody. Or you afraid that you tried to explain something, but they took it the wrong way. And I felt like this for a very long time. Dysfunction is when you are walking on eggshells in front of somebody that you know at any moment they can blow a top. I don't want you near me. I don't want you around me, and you're not invited anymore. That's it, and that's all. And if I have to go out and find my blue sky, my rainbow, my happiness and peace doing it by myself, then so be it. It would be by myself. I don't have to entertain that, and you shouldn't have to either. Some of y'all have allowed people to be to stomp all on you like you some mat. You see what I'm saying? Like they could come around and disrespect you. So after all of this whole ordeal, I was in tears. I even called my grandmother. I was in tears about the situation. I couldn't believe how this person could have done that. And in front of my child, in front of my mom, like I couldn't believe how this person did this. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not even in a relationship. A good relationship wouldn't have bad habits like that, but some people that are in bad relationships, they've been yo-yoed around in their emotions. It's been a long time since I've been in a relationship. The last relationship I was in was the man that I married. Okay, so there's no excuse why my feelings should be on the floor because of what somebody else did to me. And I said to myself, because the enemy will use your family and your friends, your co-workers to get to you, because he wants to get you out of character. He wants you to be nasty. See, back in the day when I wasn't saved and you came up to me or doing whatever, I was petty. I was a petty Betty. I was going in. I didn't care. I didn't care who was around. But when I don't say nothing no more, when I'm silent, that's when you know I've had enough. Moving silent. So I'm on a group chat with some family members, and this person posts something up on the group chat, and my heart just went, like they trying it again. They trying it. I'm like, it's just a test. And I'm like, and I can easily post so many things that this person has done and why I don't want to be. And I said, I'm not gonna post any of that, because silence is power. When I don't say nothing, that means I'm done with you. Because I know the reason why you doing it is you trying to come at me. The enemy's like, look at this post, Mona. Now, what you got to say about that? Then the enemy's like, why don't you go ahead and post this, that, 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 that about this person? And I'm like, nah, Satan, get behind me. Because I already know what you want. You want me to do. You want me to go there. You want me to go southeast on this person. You want me to go there. You want me to bring the old person, the old man back. That old man is not coming back and is not inviting seven other unclean spirits, because I've already repented about how I used to be before God, and that old person is not here anymore. So I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it no more. So I say this is that some people are holding you back from how great you could be. It could be your mother. It could be your father. It could be your sister, your best friend, your cousin, your next door neighbor. It could be a coworker. It could be an ex, a baby father, a baby mother. I have seen some people that were great at one point in time, and it took a woman to take down this man. Samson had strength in his locks. And when he told the secret to this woman, she went back and snitched and told it to the dude. They was like, oh yeah. So they went and took away his strength and blinded him too. Took away his sight. I've seen women at the like literally at the top of their game, and the devil used the man to come and take them down. The devil did that. Used the man to come and literally destroy and take them down. I seen men, like I said, my own sister. She was beautiful and strong. I looked up to her. She was literally only a year from me. She married this man, wrong man, wrong man. First of all, he was already somebody else's husband. She married him with her disobedience, and ever since then, to this day, my sister literally lives homeless in the streets. And some of you think that I'm just saying, using that as a word. No, 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 no. She pushes a cart, and she literally lives in the streets. Lost her mind behind this man. But see, I said this and I meant this, is that I know when a man or a woman can be in your life, and they can either make you or they can break you, or you realize, man, this person used to be very sweet and very kind, but then That baby father of hers turned her into a loose cannon. She became like some hood thug. And it's like she's not the same. She has PTSD since she was dealing with him. Him too. He used to be kind and sweet. Like he was just one of those type of guys that go out the way and change your tire and everything. When he started messing with Rhonda and she did him wrong, he just was like, he went ham on everybody, and he's just never been the same no more. When you should never allow a person to be in your life and literally because of what they have done, you make it an excuse of why you're so nasty. If you didn't learn how to forgive and overcome and look, because any of my friends can say, when they look back at my past and where I am, I'm definitely not that woman back in the day. I mean, I don't dress like her. I don't talk like her. I'm not angry like her, like how she used to be, how she was. I'm not her. And even all of the hurt that my husband had put me through, I've forgiven him. Like all my friends know, I barely even mention my husband's name. I barely. So when this person tried to mention all my exes that I dealt with, and even the man that I married and cursing him out, I'm like, what you cursing him out for? And that's the man you. I'm like, so didn't you learn anything from it? After all them jokers I dealt with, I still came out and there ain't no smoke on me. And I'm not saying look at what he did to me. So I'm walking around here like, I'm not doing none of that. It's just I love him, I forgive him. He's good, he's alive. Okay, next. Like I didn't allow that to hurt the person that God created me to be. But I've noticed that, and I've noticed with this particular individual, you go from 0 to 1 million, just like the man you had a child with, because you dealt with so much of what he did. It is literally like you became that too. You know how they say birds of a feather flock together, and eventually, what you say out your mouth, it's only a habit of the person or the people that you are around with. When you are around with certain people that curse all the time, it's not surprising that you curse like a sailor. And so when you're around people who don't curse, they looking like, man, let me get a jar of pennies because you curse too much. Or when you screaming at you to the point you black out, you forget events because you've been with somebody who was screaming at you so much that you started going, and next thing you know, you started doing messed up things. So I say this to say this. It gets a point in the time where you just don't, even my mother, she loved her brothers, but there's certain habits that she noticed, and she was just like, I don't want to be around that type of stuff. I love my siblings too, but I don't want to be around that type of stuff no more. I just don't. And I don't have to condone it because you're my niece or you're my sister or you're my friend. I don't have to be around that. I don't. And I don't have to invite you if I don't want to invite you. I don't. I can go somewhere else and enjoy myself and go home in peace. But I vow I will never let anyone walk through my door and try to take my joy and my peace away. And you know what happened after that person left? They went into the play, they went to the park, and they proceeded to do them and eat and drink and have fun the whole time on my end. I'm picking up the pieces and trying to get my feelings and my emotions and taking it before God and like, Father, like this is what happened, and I need you to cover this. And we trying to get it together because this person came in because the enemy wanted them to do that. So you got to be very careful who you let up in your you got to be very careful who you let up in your house, who is your so-called, and just because they sisters don't mean a daggone thing. Remember, Cain and Abel was brothers, and if they're not being God, and I'm not losing out on nothing, because anytime where I have to pick up the pieces and I'm just like, what just happened? Why did this person do this? I can't comprehend crazy. I can't comprehend crazy. I can't be like, well, maybe you were just having a bad day. Maybe you need to. I'm not a psychiatrist, and daggone it, you ain't paying me for my hours. You need to go to God like I go to God. Because when you go to Him, when you read His scripture, when you read the Word, when you repent, you know you're being judged at your every second, your every move, and even your thoughts. So you know how to act when you're in public in front of people instead of trying to beat and hurt people and bully people. When you do stuff like that, like I ain't got nothing for you no more. I ain't got nothing for you. When you proud, when your habit becomes so disgusting, you don't even realize you being disrespectful to your own mother. And I knew, like I said, I knew like everybody's going to go with you in your future. They're not going to go with you on the next level, or they're not going to go with you out of town. And sometimes you just got to be like, it is what it is. We're grown. Like everybody has their own life to live, and everybody chooses their own paths. Okay, you may chose a path to live here. This person chose a path to live here. This person chose the path to live out in the streets. But everybody don't have the same path, and it's not up to you to act like you're God to save folks that don't want to be saved. You get what I'm saying? So it even comes a point in the time whether it is your son, your daughter, your friend, best friend, cousins, or sisters. It comes a point in the time where you got to let them go. You gotta let them go. But anyway, I hope you're listening to that, because there's a lot of y'all that got people in y'all lives that's just like, why they act like this? And I'm trying to explain to them, let them go. Let them go. They're gonna wonder why they're not invited to the party. They're gonna wonder why nobody shows up or really calls them. They're gonna wonder why, because you want to sit in your bitterness, then you be in your bitterness. Okay? But what you're not gonna do is you'll never be able to come in my space, in my face, in my house, in my home, and you'll never be able to take my happiness ever again. It's just not gonna rock like